recruiting players to switch high schools. We got a panel here that might say some things that everyone thinks. All right, so just keep that in mind. We're gonna come down the line. Should we have the recruiting that's going on right now that's adamant across the Charlotte metro area? We're gonna start with Coach McClamrock on this one because I know he has some passionate thoughts on this.
So here's my personal belief. I believe that a parent should be able to choose what's best for their child. Just the other day, my wife Maggie started watching reruns of Beverly Hills 90210, and in the first or second episode, Brandon Walsh follows Andrea Zuckerberg on a bus home, and she lives on the complete opposite end of the town. And he's like, Andrea, how do you go to West Beverly Hills High when you live way over here? Obviously not the same kind of neighborhood that the other kids at West Beverly Hills High live in. And she said, because West Beverly Hills High is the best school in the city, and if I want to get a college scholarship, that's where I need to be. So I'll preface it with that. I believe that parents should have the right to send their kids to the best school that seems fit. That said, I do not believe that coaches should place undue influence on these said kids or these said parents. I've got a kid at the school I just finished coaching at who is a freshman, and his dad on Twitter, who has less than 100 posts on his Twitter feed, is followed by no less than 4 coaches from one school that's not in our conference, that's not our school, that's not even in the same county as ours. Now, why in the world are those 4 coaches following this kid's dad? There's only one reason, because they're trying to slide into those DMs, and that's wrong. If a parent says, hey, my kid deserves to go here, my kid will work out best here, then you know what? Send them there. But when coaches unduly influence it, it not only spoils the game, it spoils the coaches who do things the right way, but I think that it breaks apart awesome team chemistries and things that could be really, really, really special inside of certain locker rooms and on certain fields.
Coach, your passion on this, man, is unbridled. And I know we've had some conversations in the past that were very eye-opening on my part because of the boldness of some people that are out here in the game. And
Coach, we know, Pat, we know, and I've told you this, there are coaches in the area who they have better recruiting strategies than some of the biggest name colleges that ever came through my schools. I mean, we're talking about a coach who one time told me that I'm going to get player X next year because I'm working on getting a coach who trains him on the weekends here this year. And so when I get his training coach here this year, it's going to get this player here next year.
You're giving away secrets now, Coach. Be careful.
Hey, well, let me tell you, 3-way calls, I know how the secrets work. You know, my buddy calls the guy, and then we get the coach on the 3-way, so no one knows anything. I know how it works. I've seen it. And coaches, hey, coaches admit it. I've had coaches in front of me at photo shoots try to recruit my players. I had players come up and say, Coach, is that so-and-so? Is he a coach? Yeah. How come? Well, Coach, I saw him at the store. I saw him at Food Line. I saw him at Walmart, and he was trying to recruit me to come to his school because he saw I was wearing my shirt.
Yeah, and the other thing about that is I know you got receipts. I know other coaches have got receipts out there. And, I mean, I'm telling you guys, I know right now the enforcement is not strong, but I got a feeling it's coming. It's coming. It's going to change. All right, let's bring in Coach Kroll on this. And I know he's got some strong words as well.
Well, first off, Coach, well, way to set it on fire, Coach. Way to set it on fire, baby. I'm gonna say it like this, you know, and I'm a guy from the country boy. So from my perspective, I'm gonna just tell you what it looked like coming in to Charlotte, and I'm gonna give it from 2 perspectives. One, I'm gonna say if you a kid, I'm 100% behind what Coach said. it's got to be the parents' decision. It's got to be the kids' decision. If you know that you are looking to accomplish something from getting from a specific school, then I'm all for you making that decision and deciding to go to the school of your choice. But you're gonna make that decision before you come in. You're gonna make that decision before you come in, right? And I was a big fan as a head coach. You know, one of the things that I did was we did kind of like, you know, a middle school kind of visit. We let the kids from middle school come in on an official visit. I want you to get to know the staff. I want you to walk around the school. And at Christ the King, we had feeder schools. So even when I was at Bedingfield in Wilson, that was one of the things that Coach Ward, he brought in, he ushered in. He was the first person I ever seen do that. Do official visits for these kids. Let the kids take pictures that like as if they was going on an official visit for college. But see, you're going to make that decision when you first walk in the doors. If you're going to make a transfer decision, you're going to make that one time. You're not about to be hopping all the way around from here to Timbuktu and back to London, and you're not going to do that. You're going to make a decision one time at the beginning, and if that decision don't pan out, I believe that it's okay for you to make a decision on your own, no coach's intervention. You know, if you just got a relationship with a coach and it's organic and it's been there for a long time, okay, I can understand you want to go play for that guy. But if the first time you ever introduce yourself to this coach's through 707 travel team, if the first time you introduce yourself to this coach is on Instagram, is on Twitter, is on Facebook, is on your mama Facebook, that's a problem. That's a problem. So I think if you're gonna make the decision, you're gonna make it the first time when you coming out of middle school and you see the program that you're gonna choose. I was willing to take it as far as with my first year at Christ the King. I wanted to do like I was introducing a class coming in, the class of 2018 coming in. These 8th graders whose parents made the decision they was gonna come to Christ the King over Charlotte Catholic, which was that's another conversation for another day. You know, because as being the Catholic school in the northern part of the Charlotte area, I was competing with trying to get the kids that came from the Catholic school all across Charlotte. In order for us to really be able to build it, that's how it was. It was the same thing at Bedingfield. We were looking to build it from the 8th grade coming up. I wanted to get the middle school kids. I wasn't looking to grab no kid that was at South Meck that's already there, or a kid that's already at Huff, or a kid that's already at Central Cabarrus. I didn't want to do that. Now, if one fell into my lap, that's like monopoly money, you know. So I wasn't gonna complain about it, but I wasn't gonna be the person to send my staff out or send a friend of the community to go out and try to get these kids to come over to me. That ain't right. Not on the high school level. It ain't right, and you really can't even do it on the college level. So I 100% agree with what Coach is saying. I am all for what the kids feel like is best, but you gonna make that decision. You get two decision points. You get to make it in 8th grade. You and your parents, y'all can make it in 8th grade. After 8th grade, you get one more shot. Make the right decision. Don't mess up. You choose to go to West Charlotte over there with my dog, Coach Billups. You better stay over there.
Nah, I'm not. Hey, don't put my name in that R word.
All jokes aside, now, I know y'all not doing no recruiting, but I'm talking about the coaches in the area that are. Coach, they darn good at it, man. You're right. They darn good at it. I fell victim to it. And I didn't know nothing about it, really. And I'm going to say, be truthful, I ain't know nothing about it until I came to this area. And I'm always going to be an advocate for this area. This is the best high school football in the Southeast. You get into that 980, 704 area, you play 828, you get into the best high school football in the Southeast. But you know who knows that first? The coaches know that first. They know it first. And I fell victim to it. And I ain't complaining about it. But God darn, man. That man. Come on.
All right. Coach Billups, you got the floor.
First thing first, that's Kenneth McClan Rock for you. Yeah, it's deep. Everything they say, there's some truth to it. You ask yourself why. I'm a true believer. You go to this middle school, you go to this high school. Whoop, whoop. Me being a parent, that's a tough decision that a parent should have to make. And like I said last week, the biggest recruiters are the parents and these kids. And, you know, you can't really stop that. I don't condone the whole, hey, you should come here, you should come here and do this, let's do this, whoop, whoop, and all that. But it happens, the Twitter stuff, you hear about it and I just smile and say, that it does happen, but there's no enforcement. The enforcement is not it's not really in black and white. It's so much gray area in that they basically want you to say, hey, I, Brandon Billups, know such and such, such and such did this. And they want you to like go in a room and hey, that's the person, that's the person. But I'm giving you the reference and the stuff like that. Why can't you just go off of that? And Coach McClain was right, man. They should not be, one of my guys at West Shaw should not have coaches from everywhere following. I follow a lot of Hopewell players because I coach at Hopewell. I follow a lot of Providence players because I coach at Providence. I have relationships. These are like my little brothers. It ain't me saying, hey, you need to come to West Shaw. Like, I was talking to a Hopewell player when I was at Harris Teeter, and we were just laughing about. He said, man, I can't wait to play. I said, we'll whoop your butt. I said, oh, okay, here we go. And more friendly jabs and stuff like that, or just words of encouragement. Hey, man, you're great. I think people should do like I do. I big up my boy Fred Bates was talking about how they were telling him to leave Hopewell. I said, man, you stay your ground. You got excellent coaching, Jamel Bird. And I believe that. I had played league, before I left Providence, Jake Snap. He went to Butler. He told me, I just hugged him. I said, I love you. You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what your family told you to do. There's no malice in my heart. Now, that's one thing I don't want a lot of I think coaches need to stop doing, having malice in the heart towards the kids, because we are in this business to support kids. They don't make these adult decisions. Their parents have to transfer them. It's not the kids. So stop. We got to stop with, man, I can't stand that. Why? He didn't make that decision. He's doing what was told of, because whatever I tell mine, they don't do what I tell them to do. That's how it is, So I get it. McClain Rockets, right? Coach Crowell, right? Guys in the coaching profession, the 704 and 980 number. This is the greatest area code, but it happens everywhere. Jack Brick happens, it happens. It happens everywhere. Charlotte when you're so great, you live in the greatest city in the world. They don't point out at you, and you gotta be able to take it. So just take it. You're not doing it. You're doing things the right way. Hey, just let it roll down. People don't talk. They talk about Jesus Christ.
That's great stuff, Coach. All right, Brandon, you got it.
Like Coach alluded to, I'm all on board with a parent and a player making a decision that they need to move based on what's best for them. Because sometimes you have a really good player that's just buried on a depth chart on a great team that they just may not see the field because they got a couple guys in front of them that are just that good. So it makes sense that maybe they would switch schools so that the child can be on the field more. But I don't agree with coaches just trying to make a stacked team even more stacked, just to tip the scales more so in their way. I think it just takes away from balance, the balance of competition, where in an area you might have, 3 or 4 really, really loaded teams, and that's it. And everybody else is just fighting behind them. I think if there was less recruiting, you might have more balanced conferences, and then more balanced competition. I think would be best, rather than just these top teams that just stealing player talent from other schools just to make their teams even more stacked.
That's a great point. And, a lot of you, I'm sure if you're watching this, you saw the interview with Steve Shaughnessy that we did, which was awesome. One of the things he said when I asked him, and I don't think I've released this yet, but I asked him, what's the biggest difference between football now and football back in the day? And he said the balance of competition. So you have a great point. You might have had a kid or two back in the day in the 80s and early 90s move schools, and it was a big, huge deal. But for the most part, kids grew up and they played where they grew up, and the balance of power was not as great as it is now. He mentioned the one season, I think we were talking about the '84 Garinger team. When they were winning games, a blowout was considered 28-0. Because those lower level teams in the bottom of the conference were still really good. They had talented players. Because you didn't have that stacking of teams that you have now. So, Brandon, that's a great point. Let's go to Cherie. And Cherie, you got the last shot on here.
So I'm actually glad that I'm on this panel with these coaches, because I was going to ask the question of how you go about trying to keep players, in your schools, when something like that goes down, like, if there's a school out there that has a better opportunity or whatever. And you guys all answered the question, and did a pretty good job. The answer is you don't. You just don't. And I think the biggest thing for me is, like, when you consider these kids and how some of these kids look up to these coaches as potential father figures. And so it would be easy to influence them to, stay with their program and stuff like that. And that just shouldn't be a decision that you make. And then the other point I had was, so I graduated from Independence back in 2004, go Big Eye. And, I think one of the biggest things that was happening during that time was, recruiting, was kind of, and it wasn't even necessarily recruiting. I think it was more so, but anyway, along those lines, and Independence, they got titles taken away and all kinds of things, for those reasons. So, I think it's, it's good to just, keep it, like you said, a balance of talent, and just, give these kids and their parents the opportunities to make those decisions, and not, so much on, our benefit, well, their benefit, you guys as coaches, y'all's benefit. So, yeah.
Cherie, that's great stuff right there. I mean, just to wrap up this topic, we could talk for, hours and hours on this. I think everyone in this panel knows, has intimate knowledge of recruiting going on in this area. I've always said, if a player moves and it's motivated, with reasons within their own family, or, their parents decide, or if their offense is not a good fit. If you got a great quarterback running a double wing, for example, and they're throwing the ball 6-7 times, yeah, okay, I get that. But like you said, I think it was Coach McClaren about undue influence. That's a rule right out of the handbook, and that's the thing that has just been running rampant for years. And hope I really do feel like if we have some changes in leadership in certain places, that's going to get enforced once again, like it did in 2008 in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, where the hammer was dropped, and we saw several teams lose their seasons, in the record books.